to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. Are you a goofball that loves Giants football? If so, sit back and relax as we talk about the team that both excites and frustrates us so much. And now, here are your goofball hosts, Drew and Rob.
Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, New York Giants podcast. I am Drew, joined as always by...
me, Rob. Let's talk about some pick'ems.
We got some picks, we got some Giants news for you guys. And you know what? I'm going to go on a limb right now. I'm going to go on a limb and say the Giants will not lose this week. And they're going to give up 0 points and score every single time they get the ball.
Well, that's going a little too far. I don't think we put up many points on the board. That's just silly talk.
It feels weird always we do the pick show on a bye week. It's like, you know, it's just like there's no Giants to talk about. What do I do? What do I do?
Oh, jeez.
It's like it's almost like a preview of what happens, you know, when the season's over. And we're just like, what do we do? Got so much longer before football again.
Yeah.
But guys, we still got games this week. We still got another 14 games. Again, the four teams on the bye week. Again, we're one of them. And we still got a lot of news to go over. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of rumors going on right now as well. So let's get right into it, guys. So first off, we got to talk about Rich Eisen's comments he made on the New York Giants there. So a lot of comments coming, over through him. And to be frank, a lot of them are spot on. You know, Rich Eisen is always a guy I enjoy listening to and hearing his thoughts on. He's a guy that I think for somebody who covers sports as a whole really does spend a lot of time finding things out, or at least has a staff that finds this stuff out for him, because his opinions are usually pretty damn good. And here's what he said on Daboll and Jones. He said, what Daboll's calling, guys, people are open. They are first drive. Nabers gets open on a third down, and Jones with a clean pocket airmails him. The flea flicker. Now you could field, and you got Tyrone Tracy Jr., who, by the way, is a very talented kid. He's good. Giants have some players who can catch it and run it. And why are you calling a flea flicker? Well, because it was going to work there where two guys en route. They were both wide open, and Jones held on to it. And the top of the screen, I saw this live. If you watch the replay again, if you show the replay of the all 22, you can see Daboll at the top of the screen kind of losing it. He's scheming them open, guys. They are open. And I don't disagree, guys. If you watch the games, you can see how many poor throws Jones has, how many times people are wide open. He just doesn't throw it to them. He is holding this offense back like you would not believe.
Yeah.
Holding it back.
He's giving us, He's underestimating himself by underthrowing it, and we're overestimating a lot of the DJ lovers out there. Overestimating his power when he overthrows those balls. Yeah. So
it's almost like you got to wonder if the opposing team is giving him the paychecks. The way he's playing, he's like the MVP for the opposing team a lot of games. I mean, he's had some games like the Seattle game, not a bad game. There's definitely the first Commanders game, not a bad game, but he really hasn't had that great game. And I just don't think he has it in anymore. Like I said, I just think he's done. Rich Eisen talking about ownership's feelings on the Giants. He said they love Daboll. The owners love him. There's a lot to like about him. Certainly when you meet, he's just like a regular dude. Saban guy, Belichick guy, the type of guy you want in New York. And I don't disagree on him there. There's a reason, guys, that they're already saying basically that no matter what, Shane and Dave are coming back. This ownership group really likes them. And guys, we can talk about the fact that there's a lot of things that need to be changed. And there definitely is. You could talk about the fact that there's a mistake made by trusting 2022 as being legit and them trying to load up for even better 23. There's definitely mistakes made, guys. But everybody makes mistakes in this business. Every single person. And I still think if you look at their roster, I'll still say it till I'm blue in the face here. We're a quarterback away. Point blank, a quarterback away. So, Malik Nabers, on him, he said, "You remember the red flags on Nabers coming out of the draft? I didn't see a damn thing. He's on it. He's prepped. He's ready to go."
Yeah, I mean, he's had a couple of knucklehead things, and we talked about like just him going out and talking about like, "Hey, I go to New York. Yeah, they need a quarterback." I mean, he wasn't wrong, but it's a bonehead move to say to the franchise you're going to.
Correct.
It's kind of like you start on a new job. Like, I'll be really good at this job if I had a different boss.
Yeah. Or like a team lead, I guess.
Yeah, team leads. Yeah,
that's probably the best way to word it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I think a lot of what Rich Eisen's saying is dead on. Guys are wide open. This offense is not as bad as it looks, just as an incompetent quarterback at it. I mean, if you look at this team, honestly, guys, it's stacked. He mentioned Tyrone Tracy Jr. You have literally the best rookie running back in the league right now. Then you go to Malik Nabers. You have the best rookie wide receiver in the league right now. Then you go to the offensive line, which is playing much better as a whole. Granted, we've had some issues with Andrew Thomas being out, but who wouldn't miss Andrew Thomas? He's the best lineman we have by far. This team is not nearly as far as people think on offense. And it's so hard to judge some of the guys. You might go, okay, there's a little bit of disappointment in guys like, let's say, Theo Johnson as an example. I know some people are expecting big things from him. How do you judge a player when this is your quarterback?
100%. It's funny. I was actually talking about this at work earlier to an Eagles fan.
Maybe we should have been working.
Yeah, I probably should have been working. But instead we're talking football. And he flat out was like, yeah, you guys are garbage. Like, this is what I expected you guys. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, we got a top-rated defense with, we're coming in with the high caliber amount of sacks. Like, secondary needs work. But we got one of the best defensive lines that are stepping up and putting pressure on the quarterback. It's like, you got an offensive line that's the best, the most improved in the league, going from from the bottom to like the middle of the pack, but it's most improved. Like, when you do power rankings and you go up by 15, that's a lot. And in a league that has 32 teams. And it was like, you got generation talent at Malik Nabers, was on pace to beat Puka Nakua's numbers with a terrible quarterback. Yeah, with terrible quarterback play. It's like, you got a rookie running back who's averaging over 5 yards, per carry. It's like, what's not to like? And then you got, Wandell and you got Slayton. It's like, they have a lot of hope in this team. It's a good play call and just bad decision making behind the line, behind the offensive line.
Yeah, and I use the mention of Theo Johnson because I still think there's a lot of promise there, and I'm curious to see with a different quarterback, which obviously we're going to see very soon potentially. I'm curious what happens with them, because sometimes a player like that is still learning. You stunt his growth by putting him with a bad quarterback point blank, and that's part of why you got to make the change. You can't be stunting growth of the young players just to keep a guy in there that's not going to be here past this year, guys, because that's 100% where we're at. And then you mentioned, like you said, the defense. I mean, we're leading the league in sacks right now. We're average as far as points per game allowed, which is the big thing I care about. That's the most important stat, guys. I always say it. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face here. There's two stats that matter more than anything else: how many points you're putting up and how many points you're giving up. Those are the two most crucial things. Everything else, it doesn't matter if you're first in the league. In every single thing else, if you're giving up a lot of points and you're not scoring a lot of points, it's going to be a rough season for you. It's a very simple thing. I don't know why people overanalyze the hell out of it. It's very, very simple on that effect. And like I said, we got everything to be not a great team, guys. I'm not trying to sit there and say we're Super Bowl caliber with the quarterback. We're not. Let's be honest. But we're a borderline playoff team, I think, still with a good quarterback. I still will swear by that. And I know some people will say I'm crazy. Some people will say I'm a homer. I see some of the Giants content creators that just are you think this team is a quarterback away. You're crazy. They have this, and this, And granted, there's holes. That's why we're not a Super Bowl caliber team. We still need to stop the run better. We still need a corner, I think. I don't think Deonte Banks is a CB1, that's for sure. And he may develop into one later on, but right now he's not. He's in over his head. We still need, potentially another weapon on offense of some kind there, because you got the drops at Wandell, you got Slayton being a free agent coming up soon. Like, there's still some things that need to be done to this team. It's not a complete team yet. But there's a whole lot worse, guys.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it. Like we were talking about before. Like you sub out. Yeah, I said it last night before I lost power. But like you take out DJ, you sub in like a Kirk Cousins. You could be potential saying like, oh, they have 6 wins, and now like tonight's game is on the line for a lot more than what was already happening.
Yeah,
because you take it away, like you're looking at 7 wins from the Commanders, but if we go 1-1, they got 6 wins, and then we have 6 wins, and then now if they beat the Eagles, we're right around like this crazy thing tie, and we're going to a bye. Like things would be a lot different.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I just thought it was a lot of good points by Rich Eisen there that he mentioned. Another top NFL guy talking about the Giants, Adam Schefter. So this is a guy that, let's be honest, whenever you hear the breaking news, what's Schefter up to? Like that's what we were all thinking. He's the guy that pretends to be the breaking news guy. So he was on the unsportsmanlike radio show talking about the Giants and Daniel Jones. He said, I would guess we don't see Daniel Jones play another down for the Giants. That would be my guess right now, because Brian Daboll's tone yesterday was different than in other weeks. It was always Daniel Jones is our starter. And then yesterday, we're evaluating everything. Now, he said that on Tuesday. Guess what, guys? We said the same goddamn thing on Monday. Breaking news. We beat Schefter. We beat Adam Schefter to the punch there. I feel like that's an accomplishment. We should put that on a plaque.
We should.
We beat Adam Schefter to a story. He goes on to say, my guess today would be that the Daniel Jones experience time in New York is over. They can't risk, I don't believe, having a guy out there with a $23 million injury guarantee that you're not going to be committed to next year. And he alluded to the same thing we've talked about before about, the last season with Russell Wilson in Denver, that kind of stuff. Is that Nirvana playing in the background? What was that?
Oh, yeah.
That like heart-shaped box starting. I don't know why.
Well, you were really good at four chords there.
Is that what it was?
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. My phone was open and my dog hit Facebook.
I swear it sounded just like heart-shaped box. But again, he's saying that kind of same stuff we've been saying, guys. So it's nice to hear somebody else say it as well, because it means maybe we do know something after all. We're not just goofballs. We're smart goofballs.
Yeah. We're fun goofballs.
Yeah. From one guy who we think will be an ex-Giant soon to a guy who is currently an ex-Giant, Tyree Phillips. He's saying, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play today.
Put me in, coach.
Look at me.
I'm ready to play.
I should be right tackle. Center field, obviously. This is from from current NFL insider from Fox Sports, Jordan Schultz, via X-Twitter, or whatever the hell you want to call it. Former Giants offensive tackle Tyree Phillips has fully recovered from the quad injury he sustained in Week 17 last year. Several teams have been monitoring Phillips, who has 27 career starts. Now, as soon as that happened, of course, what a Giants fan thinking? Offensive lineman, we need him. We've been in that mindset for the last 10 years. There's an offensive lineman. I want him. And this is a guy that I'm kind of curious on, guys. I got to say. I think given how Evan Neal played last week, he needs to continue to start, because you kind of want to salvage the 7th overall pick. That's kind of an important pick to, try to do something with. Jermaine Illuminor is probably our best offensive lineman at this point there. He's now over at left tackle. So it really doesn't give a spot for, Tyree Phillips to go ahead and start. But you look at our bench. Chris Hubbard did not look good. Josh Azudu did not look good. I wouldn't mind him if he's interested in a backup role. But
yes,
if Jordan Schultz is saying several teams are monitoring him, that makes you think that someone's going to either give him a chance to start, or somebody flat out is going to bring him in to start. And I don't know. I don't know who the teams are. I don't know who's looking at him like that. But listen, guys, there's 32 teams, and there's always injuries. Somebody very well may need him to start, and we're not that team. So I don't see us probably getting him this year. But if he would take a backup role, I would take him back in a freaking heartbeat because I do think he's better than Hubbard. I do think he's better than Azudu at this point.
Yeah, but you also got to think too, like if he gets offered the job to be backup for say Ravens, Chiefs, Lions, you're probably going to take that role because you have a better opportunity to chase a ring.
It depends on a couple of things there, honestly. So keep in mind, first off, he knows the coaching staff. There is a familiarity part of that. On top of that, it depends on where he's living. If he's living out in the New York area still, he might say, screw it, I'd rather stay close to home. I don't know these things, so I don't know. I'm just saying there are pros to him potentially because he's been playing for the Giants the last couple of years. When he left us even temporary last year, it was to go to the practice squad for the Eagles.
But
again, not far.
The Jets.
What I'm saying, again, not far from where, from us at that point. You could have a house in Jersey and still be going to Philly and not have a problem.
I mean, you could also, say same thing about Baltimore. You're only talking about 4 hours.
That's a little far to go for the day.
For the day, but it's not a far move.
No. I mean, but I'm just saying, I don't know what that kind of stuff in his personal life. And I think without knowing that, it's hard to say if the Giants bring nothing to the table that would go ahead and give them, any kind of, higher, vote, so to speak, in his mind there, Washington could be an option even. Maybe like Bobby Johnson. Who knows? I mean, I don't know. That's the problem. Only he knows. But like I said, something to keep an eye on because it wouldn't shock me at all if they at least had a chit chat with him to see if he's interested in coming back again. Because I never heard anything negative about him, anybody within the franchise. And like I said, I think it's a need. And I think they probably would cut Hubbard and bring him in a heartbeat.
100%.
Even though I'd love Azudu to be the one to be cut, but that's a whole can't do that yet. I guess that's this offseason. Another Shane pick gone.
Bye.
Yeah. Thank God for him that he hit this so good in this draft because the other one's not been so good.
Eek.
Let's talk about another ex-Giant here. And this guy is not coming back to play anytime soon, that's for sure, because he's been retired for quite some time. But we got an ex-Giant here saying it's time to clean house. And that's Chris Canty, who obviously has gone on to a career in media, former Giant defensive lineman, former Super Bowl winner with the Giants. He said there's no sense in going through a rebuild with the head coach and general manager on the hot seat. It's been 3 years for Daboll and Shane, and frankly, that's long enough. It's
a little drastic.
Yeah, I gotta say, I really think that too as well. And the big thing most people take a look at is the Daniel Jones factor. And he chimed in with that as well. He said, even though this regime didn't draft him, Daniel Jones is their guy because they paid him. There's the quiet part that needs to be said out loud about this head coach and general manager. They've already won with Daniel Jones. You can't say you can't win with Daniel Jones when you got to the playoffs with Daniel Jones. Yeah, I think that's a little drastic. Guys, he had his career best year.
Yeah.
Like, you're saying basically if he has his career best year, you can win one playoff game with him. I find it a little shocking on Canty's part because he was there for the championships. The Giants don't care about getting into the playoffs, guys. We care about competing for rings. That is our goal. That is our mindset. Even though we haven't had a very good mindset for the last 10 years because of the way we've played so crappy. But that's what the goal is with the Giants. This is not the Cleveland Browns. This is not the Detroit Lions. We're not happy just getting in the playoffs. Is it fun? Sure, it's a hell of a lot more fun than this season.
Yeah.
But that's not the goal, guys. That is not the goal. He goes on to say you can't win with Daniel Jones when Daniel Jones quite literally won a playoff game with this head coach and this general manager. They've already done it. There's proof of concept. What you're saying is the head coach and general manager aren't coaching well enough and aren't building the team good enough in order to maximize what you're getting out of the quarterback. You know, the guy you invested $40 million a year in. Ouch. That's a little brutal.
It is, and like I get what he's saying because it's a fair point. Let's be real. Like
fair point to mention.
Yeah, it's a fair point to say. But also, if you look at the tape and you actually pay attention, like you watch DJ, and they handicapped him big time in 2022. Like, how many deep threats did he have? I think is 10 passes, 20 plus yards down the field, and he completed 7, giving him 70% down the field, which gave him the highest completion rate in 2022. But no one likes to talk about the little amount, subject amount that they had to go off of. So you look, oh yeah, he was that great down the field, but you're talking 7% off of 10 passes. Like, give him 5 more passes where he misses, like he's doing. I guess what those is stats. He goes down to 40%, whatever it is, 43.
Did you have lunch today at Taco Bell by any chance?
Taco smell.
Because that's some sauciness there. That's some fire sauce right there. You just said Chris Canty's not paying attention. Like, if you pay attention, that's a 2 snaps in a Z formation right there almost. Like, that is crazy. But yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, I think, again,
but
you probably run into guys in the media is their job is to get their name out there. Their job is to say things that get their name out there. And let's be honest, if Canty was like, oh, well, they went with Jones before. They maybe should be doing better than they are, but they're just not. Maybe it's time to go. Like, that's not a take that gets you this kind of, like, us talking about it,
Exactly. Listen,
media.
Take his name, remove it from, like, what he's done for the NFL, for the Giants organization in the past, does not get the same recognition.
No.
Because of his name and where he's gone from, he gets more recognition, and that sauciness of him saying that gets it out there. Now people are going to talk about it, gets out of the media. But bringing back the saucy pants, like, you look at 2022, you look at that 2022 season, like, and you can see Daboll and Shane, like, they play to DJ's strengths. Like, we talked about that too. Like, they played right to his strengths. Like, all right, you got a lot of interceptions, a lot of turnovers the past couple of years. Guess what? You're just not going to throw it that deep. How about that? We're going to do a lot of slants because you don't got to let that go to receivers. Well, you give him the weapons and you try to let him go back to throwing down the field, and here we are.
Yeah. Here we are. So he said now, also talking about John Mara, he said, you've got to hold somebody accountable for what you're seeing from this team. I understand you don't want to be the New York Jets when you're hiring and firing coaches every couple of years, but under this circumstance, it's actually warranted to move on from Brian Daboll and Joe Shane. I got to say, as much as I go on the fence, I feel like this is a good time to analyze this, really, like keeping Daboll and Shane or not, because it's the bye week. We're a little less emotional about the team right now, I think, than usual. I think it's a fair assessment to say, and I'm looking at it from this perspective. And I said it about last year, and I'll still say it this year. Is there issues with this team? Yes. Do I agree with everything coaching-wise? No, of course not. But I don't think this team has given up. I really don't. Is there sloppiness at times? Yes, but I don't think this team has given up. That's an indictment on Daboll. He's the one who's responsible for the motivation of the team. That's the key factor of a coach, is you're motivating the team. Then I look at Shane. Do I disagree with his first couple of draft classes? Hells to the yeah. Like, we talked about it live during the last year's draft class for, like, Deontay Banks. We thought that was a reach. We didn't like the pick. There's some other stuff that we didn't like. Eric Gray comes to mind, obviously. In the first year, you've already seen McKeithen gone. Josh Azudu's been nothing. There's a lot of issues with that class as well. Now you look at this new one, though, this third class. Guys, you can't complain about this draft class. You can absolutely not complain about it. We talked about it, a little bit before there. You got the rushing leader of all rookies on this team. You have the receiving yards leader, who's tied technically with his ex-teammate Brian Thomas, who's on the Jags, but he's still, like, he's missing games and he's still tied for the lead. Like, he's missed a few games, guys. Then you look at, we have a guy who is would have been defensive defensive rookie of the week here. Just got named Andrew Phillips this week. A guy who had a very good game again and has looked very good. And if you look at a lot of the redrafts that they've done, he's actually become a first-round pick in a lot of the redrafts. That's how good this has been. You got Tyler Newman, who has been a solid start to his career. I'm not going to sit there and say he's going to be the stud I thought he was going to be automatically based on how he's played. But I do think there's hope and there's promise based on what you've seen. And not every rookie hits the ground running. Theo Johnson, like I said, still verdict to be made on how he's doing at that point. But you see some flashes every so often. Darius Muasau, at a 6th-round pick, you're still seeing him do the occasional thing, mostly on special teams. But listen, it's a 6th-round pick. What are you expecting? Here's the scary part. Do you know who leads the Giants, by the way, in interceptions this season? Darius Muasau, 1. He's the only Giant that has an interception this entire year. So you're telling me you have the team interception leader. I know it's an asterisk, but you have the rookie rushing yard leader, the rookie receiving yard leader, and this week's rookie defensive player of the week on the same team. Now, is it a broken clock being right twice a day? I don't know. But I'm telling you right now, I'd be willing to just give this guy another shot because of that. Now, I go to, let's say hypothetically you make the move and you get rid of these two guys. Who are you replacing with them? Who really thinks that the Giants right now are a job everybody wants? Consider the cluster we've been the last 10 years, guys. Am I wrong, Rob? I mean,
no, you're not wrong at all. Sorry, just alarm's going off down on the other side of the room.
An alarm. You got a Nirvana concert going on. What's going on today?
This is amazing.
Seriously,
this house is possessing us.
Having a breakfast burrito in the kitchen.
Yeah, Dave. No, you're not wrong for saying that because like everyone's like knocking this defense. Yeah, we don't have interceptions. Like. This or that, but like at the same time, like who you like you're gonna bench and who you gonna replace him with? Like this draft class has been pretty solid for the most part.
Yeah, and that's what you're gonna judge a GM by is who they're bringing in. It's 50% free agents, 50%. I say free agents / trades. I'll say, and then 50% the draft. And he slam dunked this freaking draft, guys. Slammed it.
He's a little sus first couple of years. So we talked about that. But, I mean, my biggest gripe with him is that his unwillingness for the longest time to let go players that were not working and trying to fit it into the schemes.
Including his own.
That's what I'm saying, that he drafts. Like, he was okay giving up on players they didn't draft fairly fast.
Yep. Like, why is Zudu still here? We talked about it before. Why is Zudu still here?
Yeah, exactly.
He gotta go. Why is Eric Gray still here? He got to go.
Yeah, even like he admitted that he made a mistake on drafting Gray.
Yeah,
like didn't flat say like, yeah, I made a mistake. It's just we're just looking for a good special teams guy. Like you don't draft for special teams.
No, well, unless you're Joe Judge, and there's a reason he's gone. Like I said, I just think he slam dunked this draft so much that alone gives you the ability to say, you know what, you get one more year, guys.
Yeah, you get a little bit of a pass.
And let's see. And honestly, you're going to get a new quarterback and stuff like that. So even that, you got to say, listen, I just need to see promise. I don't need to see playoffs. I don't need to see crazy. I need to see you guys not being an embarrassment in this league. I don't need to see improvement. And I honestly think we're going to see that the second we get rid of Daniel Jones as a starter. And I think the second, not even Drew Lock, but I think Tommy DeVito getting in there because I do think he'll get in eventually. I think he's the guy that's going to make this team look much better than it has so far. And I can see him throwing deep bombs to Nabers. And I'm not saying DeVito's the next starting quarterback here, but he's got a much more live arm than I think people give him credit for. And sometimes you just get a live arm and a really good receiver, and that's enough to make some things happen.
He's not Javile Mayonnaise, but what he's Javile Cutlets there.
Oh, gosh.
He's Javile Parmesan.
All righty, guys. Let's go into week 11 here. because week 10, let's be honest, Rob and I kind of want to forget. We did not do very
so
good
bad.
at all in any way, shape, of the imagination. What we did do, though, is we did go ahead and at least do decent on the straight up picks, I guess. It's not horrible. I'm trying to give us a positive here.
Yeah.
It wasn't pleasant at all, guys. So we basically, for the straight up picks here, Rob, you had 7, I had 8. So listen, there's 14 games. We're both 50%.
Yeah.
So I guess there's something there. Then we go into the spread picks. That's where you and I really, oh my God, absolute poop. Absolute
Big difference. Oof.
So, yeah, 4 for me, 5 for you. That is by far our worst pick of the entire season, week-wise.
It's probably our worst ever. Not just season-wise.
You're averaging
career-wise.
You're averaging 49% on spread picks. I'm averaging 51. And again, guys, we pick every single week. So that's why ours is a little lower than some guys, because they cherry pick which ones they want to do. We just do every game. I was 28.5. You were 35.7. That's bad. That's bad.
Yeah.
Then we go into the over-unders. I got 6 right. You got 8 right. So you weren't bad on the over-unders. That's over 50%. That's 57%. With the trifectas, getting the straight-up picks, the spread picks, and the over-unders, I got 1. You got 2. So
2.
You ended up winning by 3 points this week. And my lead has been cut down to 5 after 10 weeks of action, guys. And we're on to week 11 now. Week 11. And like I said, we can do this with the thoughts of the Giants and hopefully having some of these teams lose that we're competing with for the draft picks, because that's basically what our season's down to. So let's get into our week 11 picks and spreads there. As I got to put Phil Sims up if we're doing the 11, because we got to think of the good days. We got to think of the good days. The Giants used to be good.
Memories.
Nothing but sweet memories. And of course, we got to start with the game that's going on current right now. We usually do that on Wednesday night, but Rob had lost his power, and we are already going 2 hours talking about quarterbacks coming in the upcoming draft. By the way, shameless plug if you missed that. That was a nice 2-hour spree of talking quarterbacks and just quarterbacks coming up in this draft, you guys. So check that out there at our page there. So Commanders at the Eagles, currently going on right now with the Commanders on a 7-3 lead in the second quarter, ending actually. So we're actually about going to halftime.
Going to
halftime. So, Rob, looks like you and I both picked the Eagles to win. There's a 4-point spread that the Commanders, the Eagles giving up 4 points. I picked the Commanders, so did you. We both picked the under of 49.5 as well. So it looks like
thus far we'll be getting 2 out of 3.
We are doing, we're not doing bad here, guys. We're not doing bad there.
But there's still a whole lot of football left.
Yes. Listen, that's still a whole lot. But right now, if it ended right now, you and I would get 2 out of 3 each at that point. So we get the spread and we get the over-under pick. So I'll take it.
I was in North Philly today in Old City, and those birds were ready to fly today. My God. I right out of that city at 3:30.
I was actually born and raised in West Philadelphia.
We're shooting some hoops.
On the playground is where I spent most of my days. All right, next up, Rob, go for it.
All right, up next, we're talking about a Germany game.
Oh, no,
that's a lie. That's a big old lie. That's a 1:00 game. I was about to say, this is a non-international week, Drew. Why would you do that to me? I'll make you tell it proper.
You fell for it. Fool you.
I'm a silly man who just picks his nose. Oh, wait, that's not it. What? Anyway,
San Diego.
Anyway, you got the Bears hosting the Packers.
Not Bears.
The Bears. The Packers are 5.5-point favorites. on the road, which really shows you how much respect the Bears
The
have gotten.
Packers have always, though, beat the crap out of the Bears on the road.
You're not wrong. The Bears, let's put it this way. So the way the Giants used to play the Commanders is the way that Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay Packers have always played the Bears. They've had their number for the past decade. It's been pretty brutal. So now you also got Jordan Love up in there.
Aaron Rodgers is 26-5 in his career over the 15 seasons when he's played the Bears, including 2 playoff wins.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
And now in Jordan Love era, it's a little different.
Oh yeah.
We don't have the records there. But there's also a better defense in the Packers than they've had in the past decade. Anyway, so the over-on in this game is 40.5 points. Really showing you they're looking for a high-scoring game. Talk about that defense again. That does take a rock science. 5.5 points of favorites and a 40.5. So they're saying the team's going to be 25-15, if you will. But I'm going to take the Packers to win this game. I do think there's a lot of new things going on for the Bears, a lot of new things going on for the Packers. There's a lot of changes in both these off seasons, and the Bears are playing at home. So I want to take them in the cover. This is like that juicy mark that's been trending most of the year, right around that 5-6 point spread difference. I'm going to go with statistics here and carve up a new regime. I'm going to go with the Bears in the spread, but I'm going to go with the under. I don't think it's going to be at that high scoring of a game. The Bears haven't put that much points. You have Love that's either Mr. I score 3 or 4 touchdowns a game, or I score 1 with 2 picks. And it's going to be a little tighter, closing game than most fans of the Green Bay want to admit.
I disagree with you on that part. I think it's going to be a blowout, to be very frank with you guys. This is a team in turmoil right now, the Chicago Bears, which is usually where they live anyway, so they're kind of used to it. But Caleb Williams, legitimately, there's rumors that the whole locker room was ticked off that they fired the offensive coordinator, and they wanted Caleb Williams to lose his job and have a Tyson Bagent start. Now, those of you guys who are fans of the show for a while may remember, because I went on a lot of rants about how I wanted Bagent to be drafted by the Giants late in the draft in 23. He's liked by a lot of players there. And this is a team that's stacked at the receiver position, has a good running back, doesn't have the line necessarily. But, yeah, Caleb Williams has not been good. I think someone said he had one of the worst completion percentage over its past 10 yards in the last 10, 15 years, something crazy ridiculous. I don't have the exact stat in front of me. I saw it today, and I saw it online, so who knows if it's actually true. That is, but it doesn't shock me. And the fact that somebody feels that they can put that out there and nobody calls BS on it.
Yeah,
it tells you he ain't doing good, guys. He ain't doing good. I think this is going to be a blowout all day long.
All right. Well, we'll agree to disagree on this one, good sir.
That's okay. We can do that.
Yeah.
But we agree on 2 out of 3.
Ain't that bad.
2 out of 3 ain't bad, because I'm agreeing with you on the Packers winning, and I'm agreeing on the under. But I got the Packers just blowing out this team. I think the Bears just aren't going to do anything.
Listen, all I have to do is lose by 5 and I win.
Yeah. All the Packers have to do is win by a touchdown, and I win.
Yep.
Oh.
Alrighty then.
Alrighty, guys. I'm going to give you guys a pick here that I think is a little bit being slept on here. And we got the Lions at the Jaguars. Now, I think everybody and their mother basically is going to straight up say that the Lions will win this. I think they'd be crazy not to. But, guys, there's a 14-point spread. 14-point spread. That is absolutely crazy. That to me just screams hey, this might be a decent pick here. If you look at the last 3 weeks, the Jaguars lost by 5 points to the Vikings. Good team. They lost by 5 points to the Eagles. again, we hate to say it, but if we're being honest, not a bad team.
Won the past 5 straight.
They lost to the Packers by 3 points. Again, not a bad team. So why am I going to sit there and say that they're going to lose by 14 points to the Lions, who are not a bad team, obviously. One of the better teams in the NFC.
Best team in the NFC right now, currently at 8-1.
Oh, best team record-wise. We'll see when health goes out and what happens with the Niners. I still want to see with them healthier and see what happens.
We shall see, because I don't think they may not be 100% healthy going into the postseason.
No, they might not, but I'm just saying I'm not going to call them that until I see they're the best record in the NFC. But I want to see what happens and see how that progresses, that part of it there. But they're definitely one of the top 2. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a team that, like I said, should easily beat them, but 14 points? That's a little extreme, guys. 10 points or less, and I'm going, okay, I don't know which way to go. 14 points, I got the Jags beating the spread there. And the crazy thing is, I got the under on the points, because look at those totals I just gave you guys. There's a lot of high-scoring games, so you wouldn't think that. Just something. And this sometimes, dude, you pick with the vibe. The vibe I'm getting on this game is it's going to be an under. There's no logic to it. There's no reason to it. It's just a personal opinion that something just tells me this is going to be a low-scoring game. So I got the under there.
Yeah, I actually 100% agree with everything you said. I just talked about that sweet spot being about 5-6 points. This is over double that. It's 250% of what's going on here. And I can't get behind that. There has been that many blowouts this week, and the trend, yes, the Jaguars have one of the worst defenses out there, but they've been stepping up and playing tough games. The Jaguars on the road, but 14 points, like, you just have to slow play them a little bit and lose by 10. Like you said, the 10 mark is a little questionable for me. Like, if it was if you just down to 9, I go Lions all day. 14 points, it's just too rich for my blood. I have to go Jags in this game as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit crazy there, that's for sure. And I will say this, guys, keep an eye, depending on when you're watching this. If you don't watch it, not watching it live, at the what the spread is, because I do think that's going to change. I think what happened was initially everybody went Lions. And they wanted to kind of spread it out a little bit. Vegas does that. They want to hedge their bets. They want to make sure they're not going to lose a lot. And they want to make sure they're not going to – sometimes that means you don't going to win a lot. But they're in the business of small increment wins. That's what Vegas does. They don't care if they get a 5% return on their investment. When you're putting that kind of money up, you're good to go. 5%'s a lot.
100%.
So that's what they do. If they see everybody picking Lions like crazy, they're going to go ahead and change that spread and make it where people have to take the Jaguars just to hedge their bet there. So, all right, next up, Rob.
Up next, you get the Raiders going to Miami, playing those Fins.
Welcome.
The Fins. Ooh. And the Fins are favored by 7.5 points. The over-under in this game is at a 44. My God, what a return to faith, because Tua came back. See what happens to Hill. Like, then again, did you see how Tua was trying to tackle last week? Did we talk about this? Like,
yes,
he decided to go head first. Like, he looked like Rick Moranis in Spaceballs. After they stopped Ludacris Speed trying to tackle. Why are you tackling with your head?
Yeah.
My God. But yeah, I'm going to take the Fins to win this game. They're obviously the better team. I would probably even argue to say that they win with a backup quarterback. Tyreek Hill has been healthy. They've gotten some of their weapons back. But I'm going to take the Raiders in the spread because I want to go back to the statistics. And the Raiders are, I think, at this point, 7-1 against the spread, 8-1 against the spread. And which the first beat against the spread was last week. So I'm going to go back to the norm for the Raiders to cover the spread in this, and I'm going to take the under because I don't think it's going to be that high scoring. Like, it's going to be enough points that's going to be scored by the Fins, but the Raiders are going to put in enough to cover that 7.5. They lose by a touchdown. I'm so good.
I feel like maybe part of the issue for me is I'm looking at what happened last time they played. So they had a bye week last week. The Raiders did. Week before that, they got blown out by the Bengals 41-24. I got an issue with that. And it's not the first time they've been blown out. I'm actually curious on the spread if you have that there, because there's a couple of games and I'm like, there's no way the spread was that big. They lost the Broncos 34-18. They lost to the Steelers 32-13. They lost to the Panthers even 36-22. There's been some big blowouts that these Raider teams had. And I just feel like that's what the road we're going down for this one. Just something tells me that's what we got going on there, because the Dolphins know that they need to start winning if they want to do something this season. Tua is back. He knocked off the rust a little bit last week, and they're playing against a very bad team in the Raiders. So I got the Dolphins to win. I got them to cover the spread, no problem, and I got the over. Something tells me the Dolphins are going to do enough scoring almost by themselves to go ahead and get that over.
Yeah, it's a little rich for my blood what they're going to be scoring. Tua, it seemed like he was coming back to himself last week, but it wasn't 100% like what Tua looked like beginning of the year last year. So
no,
that's
I don't think you may never see that again. To be very frank with you guys, you may never see that again. But I think that in the end,
it doesn't even matter.
That's fine. That's fine, 100%. By the way, I did look it up. The Raiders are 4-5 against the spread.
I know. CBS lied to me. I just looked it up as well.
Stats Muse. That's according to Stats Muse there. So
yeah, I just looked it up.
I'm buying that all day long. Yeah, Stats Muse is pretty good for that. Plus, they give you funny cartoons of people that play football. All right, next up, we got the Rams at the Patriots here, guys. And I got to say, this was a difficult game for me because, you talk about the spread stuff. It's a 4.5-point spread. The game is in New England at that point, and I'm like, okay, Drake May's been playing a little better. Which way do I want to go with this? The Rams disappointed us last week. So I'm going to still pick the Rams to win. But I'm going to pick the the Patriots to cover the spread, the 4.5-point spread. I'm going to say it's going to be one of those really tight, close games there. And I do have the over on the 43.5 points there. And this could be one of those games that for us decides this week, because I know you're a little different than me.
A smidge different, not too much different, because I do think the Raiders are the better team. The defense didn't look as hot as what they were before, but since Drake May has taken over this offense for the Patriots, they've been playing better football. The defense has also looked really good for the Patriots, but in the past couple of weeks, their defense has not looked as great. And it really looks like the Rams are becoming healthy. Like, they started off very soft this year. There was talks possibly about cleaning some house to revent, their team for next year. And then they went 4-1 in the past 5 weeks. So you look at that, and statistically, they've been playing better football. Granted, they got skunked last week, an upset. I want to take the get right game for the Rams. They cover this spread, and they do it in the under, because I'm not going to have a lot of faith in the Patriots to put up that many points. They're going to lose probably by a touchdown, maybe 6 points in this game.
We shall see. We
shall see.
Next up, we got the.
Just jumping right into it.
I am. Your turn. Sorry.
All right, up next, let's talk about the Super Bowl caliber teams and how like the games are going to look. And this is not one of them because you got the Browns going into the New Orleans. New Orleans are favored by 1 point. I guess you got to give the home field advantage to two crappy teams.
This is an El Paso game, guys.
100%, because it could go either way.
Do not go near it. Do not stop. Do not collect your money.
I don't like anything about this game whatsoever. The over-under is at 44.5 points. This very, yeah.
There's a continuous streak of announcing what anonymous animal Rob is this week. He is anonymous walrus on the Google Pics sheet. Just sign into Google. You'll have your name. Said you're anonymous walrus.
Nice. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the under in this game. I don't like this game whatsoever. You got Winston out. I'm sorry, you got Deshaun Watson out. You got Winston in. This is the guy that I talk about will get 6 to 7 touchdowns almost every game. Not necessarily all for his team. You got the Saints have been lackluster on offense. They've showed that they put up the numbers. Their defense is wishy-washy, and the Browns don't really have a defense per se this year. They got a lot of talent on defense, but they have not played like a high caliber defense. I'm just gonna go with the home field advantage here. Like at that point is pretty much where I'm going with this. It's gonna be a low scoring Saints win in a brutal fashion football game. I think Winston's not gonna play balling out. I think he's going to have trouble going back to a place where he played for a long time. Mm-hmm. Throw a couple picks. Saints can't capitalize. And it's going to be a field goal machine of just nonstop, no touchdowns. Let me get some more field goals.
I'm wondering, and I'm picking the Saints. I'm with you 100% everything. And this is part of why this is a game that I would not bet any money on personally, is because I'm wondering how much of this is with Jameis Winston coming back to New Orleans, the team that could have kept him, the team that could have just announced him the starter, but instead it went out and got Carr. I wonder how much that motivates him. And that can motivate him in good or bad ways, because like you said, it's Jameis Winston. That's what he does. He forgets what team he plays for sometimes.
Unless he's talking about Deshaun Watson being a great guy, and he's giving a speech every week about how great of a guy he is.
Oh yeah, great guy.
Kind of comical.
Yeah. At a certain point, you stop standing up for a teammate. That's one of them right there. But yeah, like I said, we'll see. That's a game I would put money on, but that's where we're at. Saints under. So, all right, we got the Ravens at the Steelers in a classic AFC North matchup here. This is a game, another one that I would not put any money on whatsoever.
No.
The thing that scares me on this always is because these two teams tend to play pretty close together. Divisional teams, both typically have good defenses. That means sometimes it's just one play makes all the difference in the world, guys. I'm going to pick the Steelers to win, and again, it's because of the home team thing. I'm picking them purely based on that. Mike Tomlin just finds a way to win sometimes, guys. It makes no sense whatsoever. But he just finds the way to win. He just, trips up everybody, not just kick returners sometimes. It just gets things going. And I'm going to pick the Steelers to win. I'm going to pick them to cover the spread because it's only 3 points. I think it'll be a very close game. I think it's not going to be much more than 3. It could be like a 6-point, kind of thing, or, 5-point lead. It's not going to be a blowout by any shape of the imagination. And I do have the under on the points. I think it's going to be pretty much a defensive matchup there at that point, because that's the only time the Steelers can win is when the defense does this thing. Offense can't keep up and score tons of points. So I got Steelers under.
I agree with the under, but I also agree with you 100% El Paso, because this, just the AFC North, that whole division, just they always play each other tight. No matter how bad the one team does or the other team's doing, they find a way to sit there and spoil how great the other team's doing. Like,
Yep.
doesn't matter. Now you're looking at two teams, and you on paper go into the season, you're like, wow, the Ravens should be a blowout team. Well, they're 7-3 going against the 7-2 Steelers.
Yeah.
And you go, interesting.
Things to make you go,
And the Steelers are playing some good football. Like, let's not take it away, but it's all their defense.
Defense.
Majority of the defense. I can't say, like, Wilson actually looks serviceable, and, like, a good quarterback a few times this past
might be a Giant next year, just saying.
Could be. We shall see. But I want to take the Ravens to win this game. I think they got a little bit of the edge. I think both these defenses are going to come out to play. I'm going to have to go back. Like, I think the defense is a little better on the Steelers, if we're going to be honest here. But I think the offense on the Ravens is a deciding factor, and they play each other. They play a lot tougher than offense of the Steelers, and I think it's going to be a close game. But I'm going to take the Ravens to win. I'm going to take them to cover that 3 because, I mean, the Steelers are favorite home, or the Ravens are favorite going out there. So I do think they're going to beat that 3. And I'm going to take the under because I think it's going to be one of those low-scoring 20-13 games.
Yeah, this is, like I said, a game that nothing would shock me. Nothing would shock you guys.
I also want to be shocked if it turns around to be like 44-40.
Yeah,
it looks like the Bengals game.
I'm not confident in any of that pick whatsoever. I'm just throwing it out there based on strong defenses. So under and home team is Steelers. That's why I'm doing it that way, point blank.
Yeah, 100%. But up next, talk about another exciting game. You got the Vikings going to Tennessee playing the Titans. And Tennessee, the Vikings are favored 6 points going into Tennessee. And the over-under is 39.5 points. My God, this should be a shellacking. Yes. The Titans have not played good football. They've played decently on defense. Who knows what's going on, Levis? Like, that guy's just a meme away from breaking the internet.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, the Vikings defense has been playing very well this year as well. And I think it's their offense, obviously, it's been playing lights out. You got one of the best receivers in the game, if not arguably the best receiver. So I'm going to take the Vikings to win. I'm going to take the Vikings in this upset victory. And I'm going to take it under because I don't have faith in Tennessee's offense to put up points.
Yeah, I got to ask, how is it the Lions got 14 points going to the Jaguars, but the Vikings play the Titans and we're already giving 6? That just doesn't
because one has the worst defense in the league and the other one has a way better defense.
Do they, though? I mean, let's look at the last couple weeks, guys. The Titans lost to the Chargers 27-17. They beat the Patriots 20-17. Then they lose 52-14 to the Lions, 34-10 to the Titans. I'm sorry, it's the Bills. So, yeah, I can't sit there looking at the last 4 games and say it's that good of a defense at this point. You know, that's a lot of points minus that one game against the team that's, you know, struggled to put up some points in general this week, this year. That's a lot of points to be given up. So, you know, if I had more faith in the Vikings offense, I would go the over. But I'm with you 100% of where it is. But I'm just saying that's a ridiculously low spread for this game. This should be an absolute blowout. And if the Vikings haven't won this by the second quarter, I'll be shocked. That's how much of a difference this is going to be.
Las Vegas knows something we don't know, and they're expecting a fall off from the Vikings.
The Jets and Texans a couple weeks ago. We're like, why are the Jets the favorite? And then the Jets win.
Yeah.
Vegas always knows.
Oh, Vegas knows.
Next up. So you got the Colts at the Jets. We talked about the Jets just a second ago.
That's what I said.
They come back again like a bad rash, which, you know, Aaron
I have a top of cream.
Spelunking in a cave for a while with mushrooms.
See humidity.
Guys, I got to say, there are very few teams that I have less confidence in than the Giants in the NFL. And the Jets aren't one of them, but they're not far off from that, guys. especially after being shellacked by the Cardinals, who are playing better this year than I think a lot of people are giving them credit for. But
they're flying on the radar.
Yeah, but the Jets shouldn't have gotten shellacked by them like that. And they've done everything. They brought in Devontae Adams. They've got a new head coach. All this stuff here to try to fix this team. Sometimes you just can't fix it. Sometimes all the King's horses and all the King's men couldn't put Humpty Dumpty back together again. And that's what the Jets are, the Humpty Dumpty of the NFL, guys. I never thought I'd use that analogy in the show, but there we go. I just did.
It's the first thing for everything.
So I got the Colts to win this. I think Anthony Richardson is the crapshoot in this, especially after how he got benched or, being tired and having to come out of a game. But something just tells me he's going to respond to the criticism and he's going to have a decent game. I could be way wrong. And it'll probably, when I say decent game, probably still have a low completion percentage because he had a really bad one this year. But it'll just make just enough big plays, make just enough runs at that point to win. And the Colts win. 4 points is not that big a spread, so I'm just going to say they cover it. And I got the under still on the points because the 43.5 to me is a little bit higher than I like to go for this based on how the Jets have been scoring lately.
Yeah. What's awesome about that is Aaron Rodgers came out, I think, yesterday saying that he's ready to play the next season for the Jets.
Oh, yeah. Of course he is. You know why? He's got millions of dollars that he's
guaranteed. It's like 23 or 19 million or something like that next year if he plays.
He's got more than 23 probably. He's got a ton. That was such a why would you sign a 40-year-old quarterback and backload it? Like, you tell me how that makes any sense whatsoever, guys. His cap number last year was $8.8 million. His cap number this year is $17 million. Next year, $23.5 million, guys. The year after that is a void year of $63 million. They legit can't cut this man quick enough. And quick enough is going to be 2026. Yeah. It's bad, guys. It's bad because, and they'll probably, like I said, it's a void year, and they're probably written in a way that's team friendly to a certain degree to let them spread it out. Over the cap's got to spread out over the next 3 years. But so they're paying Aaron Rodgers till 2029 when he's 46 years old, guys. Jets fans, if you happen to be a Met fan, prepare for your version of Bobby Bonilla Day. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Oh, yes.
It's totally funny because it's true. But
it is. Listen, bad franchises make bad decisions. And both those franchises, unfortunately, for their fans, because I try not to hate the teams. I'm not a fan of in New York too much. But, yeah, they both have made some really poor decisions. And this is one that's coming back to bite the Jets in the butt right now.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, I agree with you, Drew, in this game. I want to take the Colts to win this game. And I think the Colts in the cover. And I'm going to take the under as well because I don't think any of these offenses are anything to look at, especially this year. Like you said, the Jets try to do everything right. Sometimes you could make all the right moves. It's just not a right fit, and it's not going to happen. And I think it's going to be a more defensive game. It's going to stay in the under, and the Colts are just going to squeak one out. Squeak. All right, let's go into those 4 o'clock games. Unless you want to pay the bills, Drew.
You know what? I was about to say, we're going to pay the bills before you do that real quick. I was about to say that because you already private chatted me during this and scolded me.
Wow.
Enjoying the show? Looking for more goofball action? Consider a membership at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Memberships start at just $5 and give you additional goofball access. One-time support payments also available starting at just $3. buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, guys, you can always go ahead and support the show by sending a super chat here on YouTube or stars on Facebook. Or if you want to do the freebie way of supporting us, listen, we still appreciate that. Even sometimes the best things in life are free. Hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe, hit that thumbs up button there, guys. ring the bell, hit all the positive buttons, ignore the bad ones. And like I said, it really helps get everything going there. Or leave a comment here. We got a couple comments already. We'll get to
let's get
a bit there. Once we're done with the picks here, we'll get to you guys. So let's get into the 4 o'clock games.
4 o'clock games. Starting off, we got the Falcons going into the Mile High Club themselves. Ooh. Maybe it's not part of the Mile High Club. I don't know. Anyway, they're going to Colorado.
Stadium. The Mile High Club is a different thing.
Wow. Well, if you're a mile high and in a stadium,
sometimes
it's sometimes when the mayor and the stallion love each other. You can join the Mile High Club. Anyway, you got the Broncos hosting the Falcons. The Falcons are favored by 2.5 points in this game, or they give it up, I should say. And the over/under is at 44.5 points. The Falcons this year have been one of those teams that look good on paper. They play tough games. They week-to-week basis, they haven't not played like the Chiefs, where it's just always like you're going to win. Sometimes they go into these games and you're like, oh, it should be a dominant win, and they squeak out the win or they lose.
Yep.
The Broncos have made a drastic increase since they put up that 70 spot at this point 60 weeks ago or 58 weeks ago. And they've played a lot better on defense. They're top 5 defense in this league, or right around that ballpark. And it's been a lot of low-scoring games. That being said, the Falcons are still the better team, more experienced quarterback. And Bo Nix has not played great against tough defenses. And that's what this Falcon team is a tougher defense. Not necessarily the best, but they do apply a lot of pressure. And that's where Bo Nix crumbles a little bit. And that being said, I'm going to take the Falcons to cover this, but I'm going to take the under because statistically, usually both these teams are more of the under, if you will.
Yeah.
Grant the couple blowouts that the Falcons have had, which have gotten way over.
Very big game also for the Falcons. So the Bucs are also on a bye week, and they're in second place in the division at 4-6. The Falcons are at 6-4, guys. They go to 7-4. They're really starting to put that separation there between them and the Bucs and the rest of the division, and it gets to be a place of not as a coasting, but you can kind of relax a little, have more fun with the game overall at that point. And there's also a little meaning to them in the fact that one of their guys, Justin Simmons, going back home to the place he's played for quite a number of years there, made quite the name for himself in the process as well. So I think this game means a lot to the Falcons. I got the Falcons to win. I got the Falcons overall to cover that 2.5 point spread. I got the over on the points. I really think the Falcons are going to do just enough to put themselves over that hump, and the game's going to go like the high 40s in the overall points.
I think they're going to do enough to put up a lot of points, and I think what's going to happen to Colorado is they're going to put enough none, a lot of nothing out there to make this to keep this in the under.
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, that's going to be. I think it's in a little closer game than people realize. I just think this just means something to Atlanta more than it does to Denver right now. So next up, you got the Seahawks at the 49ers, another key divisional matchup here. You got a team that in the 49ers is just trying to get right. They're 5-4 at this point in the season. That's definitely not to the expectations. The Seahawks are 4-5. And this division, guys, is up for the taking at that point. The Cardinals, you mentioned earlier, 6-4. They're ahead of the division. They got the bye week still to come for them at that point. So, Niners win. Hey, now they got 6 wins. Now they're right there with the division. After all the bad start they've had. Seahawks win. Hey, they're back to 500 at that point, along with the Niners. And depending on what happens to the Rams, maybe them as well. And what's really could be a 4-way race for this division here.
Yeah.
So it's a key important game there. Whenever that happens, it's a close game typically. So I'm going to get the Niners to win. I think they're still the better team. 6.5 point spread is a little rich for my blood there. So I got the Seahawks to cover the spread, though. I think it'd be like a field goal difference this game, basically. You got over under of 48 points. To me, I'm taking it under in a heartbeat because these are two teams that have decent defenses, just enough, knowledge of each other's teams at that point to go ahead and keep the score just low enough at that point there where I'd take that under.
Yeah, I agree with you for the most part. Like, it is a very important game, and I think it's around the week. I've not heard a lot of people talk about this game. This should be, if it wasn't for the Chiefs and the Bills playing, which we'll talk about next, like this should be America's game of the week because how important it is where they stand division wise. Because Niners win, right? They're missing some key weapons due to injuries on the offense, and they have the chance to get these guys back in the postseason. So you win that division, and yes, it looked brutal for Ayuk when he dislocated his ankle. Was it 4 weeks ago at this point? It looked like it could have been a lot worse, but they talked about like they put it back in place. Everything went well, and he's got a good shot to play at the end of the season going to the postseason.
Yep.
So do you take that consideration? Like this, like the Niners could still win this game and look good. But that being said, there's still got injuries on there. So I'm taking the Niners to win this game. I'm taking the Hawks to cover this game. But I'm taking the over because I think these teams play each other so much. Like it's kind of like one of those things when it comes to we talk with the AFC North. These teams see each other so much, and it's sometimes they go and it's 9-12.
Yeah.
Sometimes they play each other, and it's a 39-42. And I'm looking for like one of those over games because a lot of people are going to look at the Niners offense and be like, oh, well, there's so many injuries here, but they also got CMC back.
Oh yeah, and that's a key.
Looked a lot better. That's
a key part of this team here. So.
But going back to the game a little bit before, the 425 game.
Of the week.
You got the Chiefs going into
Richmond.
You got the executive chefs, if you will, master whipping that kitchen around.
One question: who's the chefs?
Yeah,
I do love that commercial.
It's fantastic.
Andy Reid's just good in commercials. I don't know why.
He's fantastic. So you got the Chiefs going into Buffalo, trying not to circle the wagon, if you will. Buffalo's 2.5 point favorites at home. And the over-under in this game is 46.5. 46 straight points. This should be a really fun game. I'm going to say that. There's a reason why it's America's game of the week. It's also a game I probably wouldn't bet on. Because, it could go either way because it means a lot. It means a lot more for the Bills to win this, but the Chiefs are undefeated currently, and they just keep on squeaking out wins. The Chiefs also have the Bills number in the postseason.
Not the
only
regular.
time, but not the regular season. And that being said, I'm going to take the Bills to win at home. I'm also going to take the Bills to cover that 2.5 points at home. I'm going to take the over in this game because I think I almost took the under in this game, but I just think that Patrick Mahomes and that offense are going to have to start throwing the ball because I think Josh Allen and that high-power offense are going to be slinging that ball down the field, and they're going to have to match the intensity. And if they're going to have to do that, that means they're playing to the Bills' strategy of how to play football, and not that slow, methodical football that the Chiefs have been playing all year in the under.
There's just something about this Chief team. I don't know if it's paying off the refs or what the deal is, but they just always seem to find a way to win. I mean, last week it's a blocked field goal. They haven't had really a crazy good win to look at here.
Nope.
It hasn't been the blowout win, and it's just a little weird. I mean, they win by a touchdown, late touchdown against the Ravens, start the whole thing off. They win by a point against the The Bengals, they win by 5 against the Falcons, 1 touchdown against the Chargers. Even the Chiefs, I was like the Saints at that point, which were playing horrible at the time, they beat by 13 points. They beat the 49ers where they had nothing left basically on the roster, but it was injured by 10. They beat even the Raiders only by a touchdown. The Bucks by 6. I mean, there hasn't been that, and it's crazy to me that they just find a way. But sometimes it's just your year, and I know it's been their year for the last couple of years, guys. Like I'm not
the past 2 years, going on 3,
but more than that, even you can go past that to the Super Bowl year, the first ring they got, the loss in the Super Bowl to the Bucks. I mean, it's still a great year. For some teams, that'd be the best year the franchise has ever had. I just something just we talk about teams and players sometimes being snake bitten. I don't know what the term is for snake unbitten, but it just seems like the Chiefs are just a team of destiny to a certain degree. I know it's an overused cliche there, but they just always get these close wins and they just keep on doing it. Strange things just happens to make it happen. I don't know if Taylor Swift is somehow putting a curse on the teams they're playing. I don't know what's going on, but
I'm saying she's a witch, voodoo magic.
She's a witch. She turned me into a newt.
Bring back the witch trials.
I got better. But yeah, I mean, short of trying to see if Taylor Swift has the same weight of a floating log. I mean, I just don't know. Those people who watch Monty Python will get the references I'm making. But I just think the Chiefs got this, and it's just something about them this year. So I got Chiefs, and over. But you're not wrong in what you're saying. That's why I said it as you were saying it, even because history tells us to not do that because they're 4-3 this matchup with Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. But Mahomes is 3-0 in the playoffs, and Allen is 3-1 in the regular season.
Yeah.
So, it tells me history-wise I'm wrong. Just the gut feeling, just the way things are going. So,
you could be right. All we know is going to be a fun game to watch.
Could be right. Maybe crazy.
Yeah.
But it just may be a lunatic you're looking for. Sunday Night Football. Turn out the lights. You got the Bengals at the Chiefs here. In what at the beginning of the season seemed like Chargers. Bengals at the Chargers. God damn it, it's getting late. And what seemed like probably a much better matchup prior to the season here, guys. But yeah, it's something just not right there for those for those Bengals this year. And obviously we all know it's the defense, but they're 4-6 on the season. Chargers doing the thing as we called before the season started here because they finally have a decent head coach and they're 6-3 now. So, it just tells me what's going to happen here. The Chargers, I think, will win. They'll continue their winning streak ways. They'll put just enough points up on against a very bad Bengals defense. They play smart football. They run the ball. They control the clock. They do the things that a Harbaugh team is going to do. Control the clock means to me under on a 47.5 because that's a pretty high spread. So, yeah, I got Chargers under.
Yeah, we agree on the under, Jim. The Harbaugh family, they like just being maniacal and slowing that clock down.
Yep.
Especially if they don't have faith in the quarterback, but they have faith in Herbert. He's been doing well. The defense has taken a leap and bounds of the past couple of years of being the Chargers, and they've been playing a lot better. So I took the under as well. But if you look at the Bengals as well, yes, they're 4-6, but I'm pretty sure they're 3-1 in the past month. They have started off terrible, and I've been saying this nonstop, till blue in the face. Maybe they're 3, whatever it is. They start off really bad, and they start turning things around. They lost against the Ravens twice and a very high-scoring games twice. So they have the ability to put up the points. And when you're moving the ball down the field slow against a high-caliber team, I'm going to take the edge out on the Bengals. You can't count them out. do the Bengals make it to the playoffs? Do they cut it out? I don't think so. I think they still got faith in this team. You got Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, who, if you had on fantasy last week, the two of them matched up, you won on Thursday Night Football because, my God, those two guys had it out. And
They did.
my buddy had almost 190 points just with the two of them playing Thursday night, so he just kind of didn't look at his fantasy lineup, which is uncommon for anyone playing. But I'm going to take the Bengals to win this game. I'm going to take the Bengals to cover in the under. But I probably would not bet this game if I was going to come into this. I'll probably leave this as an El Paso. But I do think that the trends are speaking and the Bengals are making the right moves.
See, I got to disagree with you respectfully. So here's what I look at the record. I'm looking at the actual Bengals season so far. So they got stunned by the Patriots in the week 1. Let's just take that as a hiccup in the road. That's fine. Okay. They lose to the Chiefs. They lose to the Commanders. They beat the Panthers. They lose to the Ravens. They beat the Giants. They beat the Browns. They lose to the Eagles. They beat the Raiders. They lose to the Ravens again. There's a trend in this. They beat the crap teams. They lose to the good teams. The Chargers are a good team. Look at the wins. The wins are the Panthers, the Giants, the Browns, and the Raiders. I hate to say it as a Giants podcast, but that is the quadruplet of like the crappiest teams, basically. Throw in the Patriots, and they're basically 4-1, playing the 5 worst teams in the league, basically.
Gotcha. I wouldn't say the Chargers are the same caliber team as the Ravens, and they went to overtime twice with this team, did they not?
Let me take a look as far as that.
They both went up to 40s, and it was very close.
See here, overtime the first time, not the second time, but it was a 1-point win, and the last time, and a 3-point win the first time.
And what was the score against the Chiefs?
Chiefs was 1-point difference.
So
26 to
25.
25.
So I agree with what you're saying. They're beating up a bad team, so they're also playing good teams close.
They are, but that's why I think the point spread's only 1.5, because that's a pretty low spread differential. I think they're giving them the respect in the spread, but the history of this season is showing me the Bengals are beating up on crappy teams and can't beat good ones. And it's all the defense, guys. Just to be very clear on that.
100%.
Burrow, that's not Higgins. That's the defense. The defense took a massive step back this year. So
big time.
All right. Last game.
You got the Texans going into Dallas. They got a really far flight to go from Houston to Texas.
In the Yeehaw Bowl.
Yeehaw Bowl. Yeah. Yeehaw! You got a 3-hour bus ride. 4 hours, whatever it is. The Texans is nuts. They're favored by 7.5 points going into Dallas. Everything's bigger in Dallas.
Who did
And the over-under is 42 points. What does this tell you? That's going to be a low-scoring blowout game. And, Vegas, I agree with you. I think Dak's not playing. Cooper Rush, right, whatever his backup name is, did not play that great. He let up a lot of points. Houston's defense.
He didn't let up the points. He's the quarterback.
Well, he didn't get 8 points.
This quarterback sucks on defense. Why is he?
Yeah, he's terrible. But Texans defense hasn't played the best this year, but they do beat up on bad teams, bad offenses.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. You got terrible running back situation. You got a horrible quarterback situation. You got a good defense, but you know what? You got a better offense that's playing against that good defense. And I just think this is going to be a beat up battle for Texas, the Yeehaw Bowl. And the Texans and CJ Stroud are going to come out on top of this one in a blowout in the under.
Is it too late to flex this game out? Because seriously, so here's the stats on the Cowboys quarterbacks there last week against the Eagles. Cooper Rush, 13 of 23, 45 yards. He gets benched for Trey Lance. Trey Lance, 4 of 6, 21 yards and an interception. Guys, they had 66 yards of passing offense. And that's not even taking out any yardages for sacks, which I didn't look to see if they did any. Let's see, 1.5, 2, 3 sacks the Eagles got as well. So I don't see a yardage on this. The box score, but 66 yards of positive passing offense, and then you got another 3 sacks to take out of that. So you figure they really probably got 45, 50 yards of passing offense. That's horrendous, guys. And there's a reason why Jerry Jones was so angry afterwards. And I loved how everybody cornered him and made him answer questions. And I hope they keep doing that, because that man deserves to be angry. He's had too many positive things in life where, quite frankly, I think he's kind of a schmuck myself. But I'm not that other guy personally.
He owes it to us.
The vibe, he's a schmuck. I got Texans under. I'm with you 100%. And the only reason why is because the Cowboys won't put a damn thing up, basically.
No.
So it's about time we watch them really fall. I want to hear that. How about them Cowboys chant now, guys? So
let's watch McCarthy plays last season.
So we'll see how it goes. I can guarantee this, guys, will be better this week before last week. That's for damn sure. Oof.
Yeah.
That was a brutal one. So, all right, guys, let's get to the comments real quick, and then we're going to go ahead and head on out of here. So, Derek Jones question, does not Shane Daboll have to win with Jones because that's who they extended it and keep putting out there? No, because you can't win with Jones. He's not the same quarterback he was 2 years ago, point blank. And I don't see why it matters. Wins is wins. I don't care how you get the wins. I just want wins. Even though part of me doesn't want wins anymore, but that's a whole separate issue. It's the whole torn head thing. He also says winning with Locke isn't the same as winning with Daniel. Why does it matter? I don't care who cares? Like, if you get upset when the backup comes in, you win the game. You won the game. That's what the goal is.
Yeah, it means you took the right backup in place. Okay.
Derek says if they win with Locke, it means that Shane and Daboll cost the Giants this season because they picked the wrong quarterback. No, they didn't.
I won't go that far.
You're paying the man $40 million, and obviously that was a mistake, but you still got to verify it's a mistake. You can't go based on the 5-6 games you played last year and say, oh, yeah, he's done.
Yeah, because the problem is if you benched him a month ago and then you got 6 games of the show, this is who he is, then you're going to have people out there. Did he play enough? Are we sure?
Oh, no. A month ago, I would have benched him, basically.
I would have. But you're going to have people out there. You would still have people out there saying, are you sure? All right. What about this and that
still
there?
People saying, are you sure?
Yeah.
I don't know what Daniel Jones has. He has a hard drive at his house with a bunch of nude pictures of people or something. It's
definitely.
It's crazy how people still
his hard drive is worse than Jeffrey Epstein's.
I think it's part of I won't go there, but I think part of it is that he's just that likable of a guy that people just feel bad for him. And I get it, but you got to separate that. Dwayne says, can the season end now? I'm ready to draft our guy. Listen, I am ready as well because it means we're to get one of the 2 quarterbacks. So yes, I'm with you 100%. But
let's not mess this up.
we have some more weeks to go, guys. And unfortunately, we still got 8 more weeks to go. So, well, and luckily it's only 7 of them we play in, so we have less chance to screw it up. So, all right, guys, that's gonna call it a night for us. We'll be back again for you guys Monday night for sure. We'll see what we do if we try to sneak in another episode for you guys there, because we usually do our post game over the weekend. We may try to sneak that in. It depends on our schedules, but obviously there's no post game because there's no game for the Giants. So at the least, we'll be back Monday at that point to go ahead and give you guys our rundown of all the football action, the latest Giants news. If you want to know if we do something during the weekend, best bet is to hit that subscribe button. Crazy
distribute to us.
It's crazy over here.
Yeah.
But hit the subscribe, hit the share, hit the like, hit the thumbs up. Do us a favor. Like I said, it really helps us out. And Rob and I, quite frankly, suck at marketing. So we count on you guys to help us out there. Appreciate you guys for watching. As always, we are live every Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and, of course, Rob's favorite, my LinkedIn profile. Oh, yes. And, of course, as always, we are available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms. That is Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon, Pandora, all the big ones there, guys. So if you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe on that as well. Leave a review as well. Really helps us out. The big one we're asking for help right now with as far as audio, by the way, is Spotify, guys. Literally 60, some odd % of our audio comes off of Apple. For some reason, Spotify does not like us nearly as much as Apple does. So we got to get the Spotify numbers up at that point to help get it spread on there. So feel free. I think it's a star on Spotify. I use Apple myself podcast. I hate to say it. I'm like telling people to go to the thing I don't even use myself, but it's like
I'm a Spotify guy, and also make sure you hit that little plus sign and make sure that you download our stuff there because
yes,
it's a big time.
There we go. See, he's the Spotify.
Spotify
I'm the Apple, so we're good. Between the two of us, we got the two platforms covered. So, all right, appreciate you guys for listening as always, and as always, Giant fans.
Go J-Man! J-Man! Go J-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you. Please subscribe.